I am mean.
Yeah.
So there's not much that he has to do.
But you're back.
I am back. Yes, Daddy's home.
Daddy's home.
Yep.
It's good.
Yep.
How was being sick? It was like 2 weeks ago, so I assume that you're over it.
I am. Typically when I get sick, it's like one of those things where it's like I start thinking of all the times that I wasn't sick.
Yeah.
Where I took that for granted.
Yeah.
And not being here 2 Sundays ago, I just want you to know it resonated with me.
Oh, okay.
I've taken a lot of time to reflect.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be here.
It makes you realize what you missed.
What I missed.
Like, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
You only need the light when
I
it's
wish they would,
burning low.
I wish they would write songs about this.
Yeah.
I did see a meme about something like that. It was like a man having a heart attack. He's like, I'm fine, I'll cough it off. I'll go to the hospital when I have time. But a man with a cold is like, gather around, children. Like, the time has come.
It's time. It's time.
And I was like, there's nothing more real in this entire world. So that's good. It's Classy Dinner Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. All 50-ish of you. We're getting some steam. People like this. I don't know why.
What's the is there like a minimum number of people that's necessary for something to be considered a cult? I feel like we've surpassed that.
Yeah, just about. There's
That's
a few
good.
people who would follow us.
50's
Shut up,
a
Colby. I
decent
haven't
cult.
introduced you yet. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
No.
I was like honestly waiting for you to do that. Welcome to Classy Dinner Podcast to moon landing shill Colby Grimes.
The moon is real, and we have been there.
Okay, well, that's a way to introduce yourself. That's Colby. He's my favorite Howley. On the wrong side of history, taking over states that should never have been taken over.
This coming from the person who learns all history from whose movies?
Alex Jones?
No. Tom Hanks.
Thanks.
This coming from the guy who learns all his
producer
history
Paul.
from Tom Hanks movies.
I've
Thank
been
you.
listening. You'll be proud of me. I've been listening to Roots on audiobook.
No, that's not enough. That's not enough.
Why?
You need to see it.
Baby steps, bro. I want to listen to the book's good so far. Like, I haven't gotten to like the sad parts yet, but like it sounds like a pretty cool world.
Well, it's
before.
all sad because it's about slavery, so there are no sad parts.
Well, no, it's not sad in the beginning. It's like Kunta Kinte's life. He's like, I'm becoming a man.
Uh-huh.
And then they like bring up white people every once in a while as like the mystery. Like the others in Lost, that's who the white people are in this right now.
That's not an accurate comparison.
It's pretty close. Like, you
Okay.
know they're there. He's, like, afraid of them, but he doesn't know quite what they are yet. Like, and, like, what I like about it is everybody listening, so me, like, knows what's about to happen. You're like, oh, shit, is this it? Like, let's hear how bad white people are.
Yes.
And then, like, he's just like, they're real scary. And I'm like, you have no idea, bro.
Is it exciting for you to hear about, like the beginning of your great grandfather's, like, crusades of ripping people away from their families?
I don't think my family was ever rich enough to own slaves, honestly.
Okay.
So I think I'm clean on this. I'm not like...
Colby, have you seen Roots?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
See? And is
I'm
Colby
really
a terrible,
surprised
is
by
Colby
that.
a terrible person?
Yeah. LeVar Burton, I really should.
I've seen
You're like-
Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. The premise is the same.
But no, so I've been listening to it. It's a very good book. One of the things that's like surprised me about it is like how prominent, like, because again, I've never seen the movie, never listened to the book.
Okay.
I know that like being Muslim is like huge in black culture, but I didn't realize like this book is like everybody in all of his groups were Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so we're just going to skip over that part of Roots and like be like, most of the black people were Muslims. I'm assuming it comes up once they come back, like once they're ripped away from their families and brought to the U.S. and made to be Christians. I'm sure that's a good undercurrent of the whole thing. But it's kind of weird that there hasn't been more of a movement towards going back to being a Muslim. And I know there's like an undercurrent and there is a movement, but I'm surprised it's not like more prevalent.
Are you talking about today?
Yeah.
You're talking
back
about like
in the day, it was like,
post-slavery. You're surprised.
yeah, like back in the day, it was pretty big, like 60s, 70s, Malcolm X, all that big stuff. But like now, I mean, there's a few people in the what is it, the Black Muslim Brotherhood? Is that what
the Nation of Islam?
Whatever, same thing. But like,
oh my God,
The Black Muslim Brotherhood.
cool. Yeah,
That's what it's called.
yeah,
by
sure.
Marvel. But Like, I'm surprised that there's not a bigger movement now, especially with like this new, not even new, but like with the Black Lives Matter, like pushing for like.
Are you specifically talking about in the United States?
I'm talking about
because Islam is the largest religion in the world.
Well, right, but I'm like, especially now with like the Black Lives Matter movement in the U.S., going back to cultural roots seems to be a big thing. I'm surprised it's not brought up more often.
I feel like
Al Sharpton's like a Christian reverend, like,
right? But I feel like we're talking about two separate groups of people. There's like a group that is all for Black Americans returning to their roots, and then there's the Black Lives Matter group, which is a completely different group. They just often speak in the same circles. So I feel like those two groups are very commonly and incorrectly combined, but they're not the same thing, nor are they after the same thing. Interesting.
See, this is what we hit. This is a heavy topic right off the rip. This is what it was missing. Not that like last week was any worse, but like three white people can't talk about stuff like this without looking stupid. Just one person has to look stupid, and then you make me look better. It's almost like this podcast is an idea.
I don't necessarily agree, but okay.
What don't you agree with?
The fact that I make you look better.
No, you're making me smarter, which makes me look better after this, not right now. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like you're changing the world one person at a time. Like I started listening to Roots.
Mm-hmm.
I've been paying more attention
to what?
Just everything.
What does that mean? Black people. Yeah. Right, that's what I was trying to get him to say. Like
they're like everywhere, you know?
Right. Yes. Yes.
They're allowed to vote and stuff. Did you know that Cameron doesn't believe in dinosaurs? Speaking of like random black people facts, Cameron came out and said that he doesn't believe in dinosaurs.
Do you think that that's any more insane than you not believing that the moon is real?
Why does that have to be the example every time I bring up somebody else being crazy?
Because it's huge and glaring.
That is a really big deal, right?
It's not just... It's not that I don't believe it's real, because obviously I can look up and see it and know that it's there. Like, the moon is a thing, all right, Colby? So that we're all on the same page with that. Whether we've been on it, whether it is what they say, yeah, we're been on the dark side of it's alien bases. Yes, we're all on the same page with that. But whether the official government story on the moon is real is worth questioning.
It's worth questioning, but then you figure out that it would be way harder to fake it than to actually just do it.
Have you ever been to space?
No.
Okay, that must be really hard to get to space then.
It's really expensive, but it's also really hard to get 5,000 people to keep their mouths shut for 50 years. But it's cheaper to make a movie than it is to get to the moon.
I feel like it depends on the budget of the film.
I'm just saying, for the price of like a Marvel movie, we could have for sure faked to getting to the moon.
But
in 1968?
Yeah, in 1968, when we just had brand new color televisions, and then like 2 months later, we're like, hey, we're filming live from the goddamn moon in color that we've only had for 5 seconds. But check it out, crystal clear.
Oh yeah, weren't you talking about how great the transmission was and how great the film quality was? Like, I mean, we're going to the moon. We're probably going to get the best camera on the market.
Brought to you by ABC. There were like, it's, I don't know. It doesn't make, but Cameron doesn't believe in dinosaurs, which to me is hilarious because one, that's one of my fun pet arguments is the dinosaur thing, because obviously dinosaurs were real. We use them in our cars every day. I've seen fossils. I've been to a museum. Half of those dinosaurs are usually real. But like Cameron, his
half?
Yeah, because they'll be like, half of this is like plaster mold. The other half was real bones.
Gotcha,
you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And he's like, but like, I just love the simple arguments that it always boils down to. And he's like, these people's entire jobs revolve around dinosaurs being real. So why wouldn't they make dinosaurs real by any means necessary? And you're just like, well, I mean, that's not a bad thing to boil it down to.
I feel like Actually, I'm gonna throw this one to Colby.
Okay, so you could apply that same argument to NASA.
We're talking about dinosaurs now.
Well, but
we can talk about Nazis and all the fun things that they've done since we brought them over here after we're done with dinosaurs.
Well, okay, but NASA gets so many $1 billion a year, so it's in their best interest to keep this moon landing lie real, right?
Yes.
That's what I was getting at. But the round Earth conspiracy. Oh, I just made air quotes. I can't do that with my hands.
It's okay.
I like to talk with my hands. But the round Earth conspiracy goes back to Grecian times. So
forever.
What does NASA have to do with it? NASA's younger than my dad. Like, we've been perpetuating this lie for 3,000 years so that NASA can get money.
It makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I think that I'm pretty sure that the Earth is round. I'm not crazy, but I don't know. Like, that's just. I mean, but going back to dinosaurs, if you look back at it, like, there were two famous dinosaur scientists. What are they? Archaeologists.
They lied about.
Yeah, they lied about
a
whole bunch of it, and it wasn't like just a little here, just a little there. It was like they had a little bit of real shit, and then they're just like, look at all this fucking cool shit we found, and then they found out it's all fake, and then like
they basically built fake dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, and they're probably still around,
which isn't hard to do. Sometimes that happens accidentally because like all the dinosaur fossils will be in like
big jumble,
one old tar pit or something that a bunch fell into.
But I think they like falsified like the actual bones, made like fake bones.
Yeah,
which is again like that's human nature. If you're just like, look, I found this crazy thing, and then somebody's like, all right, prove it with another crazy thing. You're gonna look all over the goddamn world for that other crazy thing, and when it doesn't show up, and you've got, I'm assuming, a whole bunch more money than these guys had at the time involved, you're like, all right, we're going to make this. And then by the time they find it out, it'll be too late.
But okay, so like two guys were liars, which means all, like 3 million archaeologists were lying to,
Yeah, and that's where it gets shady. Like, everybody learned everything from those
every
two
guy
guys,
that found
though.
a bone in his own backyard, like, he made it up.
Not that it could have been. I mean, and there's like realer things. Like a lot of people who find like newer stuff in their backyard, like mammoths and shit. We know mammoths and shit are real because we found full ones like frozen. But that was what, 50,000 years ago versus
about
6 billion years ago.
60 million.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But like
just a tenfold increase.
But it's like, all right, so like those time frames make it a little differently, but I don't know. I just thought it was crazy that Cameron like was willing to die on the dinosaurs aren't real thing 10 years after Cameron's been popular in the zeitgeist.
You hate to see it.
I know. He brought like polos and backpacks around and like pink into like popular culture and rap, and then he just did so many great things, and then now he's just like, I don't think dinosaurs are real. What do you think makes somebody take that turn?
Needing to be relevant and running out of money.
I think he just came out with a new album, though.
Needing to be relevant and running out of money.
I don't know. Is there anything
you kind of have to be crazy to be that creative?
That's also true. Like, it's something that I've been thinking. I've had like a rough couple of days. I was telling Josh off mic. It's just like the world's like real slippery when you're like playing with creating stuff, so like certain things on the outside don't really matter. And like I've been thinking about it with like Trump got impeached this week too. We should probably talk about that on our
we need to talk
big
about that
podcast. But like part of it's like, yeah, it's super cool, yeah, it's important, yeah, it's historic, but like, excuse me, it doesn't really matter to most people's lives, and everybody's still like trying to be on the quote unquote right side of history. And you just look at it and you're like, are we really on the right side of history though? Like nobody's gonna know that until 200 years down the line, and then nobody's gonna
30
years down the line, but nobody's gonna look back and be like, Ray Roberts was on the right side of history, let's mark him down in the history books. Like, yes, it's our job to make sure that the tide of history goes in the right direction, like on an individual basis. We should do the right thing as much as we can. But does it matter if our entire lives, like so many people online, is wrapped around being on the quote-unquote right side of history? Like, why do you think people spend so much time fighting those battles? Like,
I think that as time has gone on, people have become more and more aware of their own mortality, and with that, we've lost the idea that like religion is important, God's important, and afterlife is important. So those two things combined kind of lead people to believe that literally all you have is this time on Earth, and if you want to be remembered for anything, you would like it to be that you were on the right side of history.
That's where I was going to go with it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Which I think is completely fair, but I also think that it's very delusional. I think it's very delusional, and I think it's a very dangerous way to live, because at the end of the day,
well, I wasn't going to go there with it.
no.
that's perfect. Yeah, no, that's
I'm just saying. For me, like at the end of the day, I am confident that if I died tomorrow, there is going to be quite a disparity between people who say Josh Lewis was a good man and Josh Lewis was an asshole.
Right.
And I'm fine with that.
So and like what's kind of had me, I think I'm like trying to figure, and we'll get to Colby on your side of it, but I want to like, so I had to go to a funeral on Friday, and like I had never met the guy. He was an ex of, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get too personal into it. Sure. But like it was Ashley's ex-uncle or whatever. Whatever. So
that's that was personal.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
We could have omitted that.
I know, it doesn't matter.
Carry on.
Again,
twice removed.
In 30 years, it doesn't matter. 50 people listen to this, all right? Like, the people in the cult need to know. But you just, like, you'll get... And I had never met him. From everything that was said at the funeral, he was, like, this perfect man. And then just like on the facts, and I don't know him. I don't want to disparage him.
Sure.
I know he was on like wife number 2 or 3.
Sure.
So you know at least 2 people have said some really gnarly shit about him in his life.
Right.
He was the owner of a business. I'm sure on a day-to-day basis somebody was motherfuckering this guy, and that's just being a human. This is not disparaging the guy.
Right.
And I don't want to speak ill of the dead or whatever the fuck people say. But like ashes to ashes, dust to dust came up, and Ashley like almost started losing her mind. Like we got in the car and she's like, who was talking about the ashes, ashes? And I was like, that's me.
That's me.
That's me.
That's me, girl.
I'm in your head. But like, it's this funny, like the disparity between people saying that they loved you and people saying that they hate you.
Right.
That's like, it's so like, that's why I post wild shit on Facebook. 'Cause like, imagine how funny it will be for somebody to go back through, like when they memorialize my Facebook or like try to pull quotes. I'm assuming that I'll die in some manner that the news will have to cover it. Like they'll just be like, oh, look at all the great things people have said about him. And then it'll be like every 8 months, because like in the middle it'll just be like me talking about how the moon's not real.
Yeah.
like, I just think that's funny for them to have to do that tap dance. And it doesn't even, it almost doesn't matter, like whether if you die a hero, they're going to find the good things. If you die in like some sketchy way, they're going to find all the bad things. It almost doesn't matter what you do. It's how the people paint what you do on it. And I don't think it's that important to like memorialize, like I'm super like, I don't know, J.K. Rowling came out as like almost against like transgender people. I didn't look too far into it, but people are losing their shit. I still like Harry Potter. I don't give a fuck what J.K. Rowling says. Like, obviously, she's a rich white woman who was born probably in the 60s. She's gonna be problematic. Like, I don't have to like worry about what she's doing. I can enjoy the fun shit and then just be wild with it, because just inherently that's hilarious. Like somebody who wrote a book about magic and people wrap their entire lives around it, their lives are shattered because she's transphobic. Like, how is that not hilarious?
Yeah. No, it's complete nonsense. I agree with you.
But Colby, you said that you didn't want to go as far as Josh on the thing. I know we went on a tangent.
It's delusional. But like I don't think it is delusional. I think people want to be on the right side of history for like their own personal dignity. Some people are delusional about it.
Yeah.
But like with me, it's like if you want to be good, like be on the right side of history or whatever. You do it. It's like, okay, to quote Futurama, if you do things right, people won't be sure you did anything at all. And when you go, you want your lasting thing to have been, at least I was on the right side of history, even if no one remembers it.
And I think that's important, is like, it's almost like that old hacky premise of like, if you didn't put it on Instagram, were you really there?
Right.
And it's like, people are so afraid to be like, excuse me, I don't know, or like, I don't care about the specific thing, or like, I don't have enough knowledge to just like sit down and lay out my entire, like, should Elizabeth Warren be president? I don't know. Like, I'm just a dude. Like, that's why we have people to figure that out and we make our best choice. But you don't have to, like, I'm with Elizabeth Warren because she's XYZ and she's the best choice. And if you don't believe that, then you're a terrible person because of XYZ. And then you can look at somebody else and be like, XYZ is the reason why she's the devil. And it's like, yeah, everybody, like, everybody's a person. And you don't need to, like, I don't know. I just feel like people think that their opinions give them a personality instead of like doing shit with their life. Like, if you're that wrapped up in politics or pretty much anything, like, you should probably just like have a kid and like do something useful, I think.
I mean, we're suffering from overpopulation right now, so I don't know that that's the best advice, but find a creative outlet.
Yeah. Or start drawing.
Sure.
Get some puzzles to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Crosswords.
Fucking
let's expand the vocabulary.
Legos. Those are good for your brain. That's good for development, and since a lot of adults are children right now, like you,
and very preventative to arthritis.
Really?
Yes.
I thought using your digits more would give you arthritis, like typing and.
There was that guy that cracked his knuckles. No. He cracked the knuckles on one hand for 60 years to see if he'd get arthritis in just one hand and not the other. Didn't happen.
That guy is a hero.
That's a myth.
That's not a myth.
Yes,
that guy,
it is.
Really?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying that the cracking
anecdotally proved the myth.
Yeah.
That's good. That guy's a hero. Why is he not in history books? Like, that's
he may
heard
be
about him.
That's what I. That's just Reddit. Like, that's the stuff we need. I don't need to know if Elizabeth Warren is 0.01% Indian or Native American. I need to know if cracking my like, that's useful to my life.
Sure, but here's the thing. Here, I feel like the other issue that we're like kind of dancing around is that like no one is ever just like memorialized in one way.
That's true.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are always going to be people on either side of the line. Like, you look up anything, and there's going to be like an answer and the opposite of that answer, because there are people who believe it to be true.
One of my favorite podcasts, I know that Colby listens to it, Hardcore History, with Dan Carlin, and one of the openings that he did, it was about Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan. How are the
I was just going to say, Genghis Khan's on money.
Yeah,
you know,
and but it's like
him.
Right, he's on, but he killed a percentage of the world, like a large percentage of the world, and it was like he's looked at as a hero now because he opened up so many trade routes and like expanded cultures across, because he conquered everything and took people with him and moved cultures along. But he also destroyed the Middle East and like a bunch of like math shit, because like people in the Middle East were the first ones to do high level math, and he destroyed a bunch of that. And the question was, at what point in history do we look at Hitler and his scientific stuff as like a good thing? Like, sure, this is, you know what I mean? But like Alexander the Great is looked at as a smart, like scholarly man who like spread culture through, but he wiped out a whole shitload of people. He's not a good person in a lot of historical tracks. He probably killed, I'm not trying to make Hitler sound good, but like on the same level.
Well, I think it's never because Hitler lost. You know what I mean?
I mean, Alexander the Great lost eventually. Genghis Khan lost eventually. They all lose eventually. Napoleon, like, he's like 5 seconds away from being not a loser. Like, they bring him up as like he spread French tradition out, like he put them back on the map. But again, he lost and he did a bunch of shitty things too. But he's almost memorialized in a good way as well. Like, you kind of look at it. that fuck Donald Trump being impeached now makes everybody think that we didn't have one of the worst presidents ever 15 years ago in like George Bush. Like you almost
I don't
forget.
think that's true. I don't
When's
think
the
that's
last somebody's
true.
brought it up?
Just because
It's
because
this
people
guy's so much worse.
yeah.
When people say,
How is he so much worse? Like, he's a terrible
Oh.
person, he's a shithead, but what has he done that's worse than George Bush?
uh,
Did he take us into a shit
kids
war?
are dying of thirst in cages?
That's always happened. Like that's happened, and he's a shitty. I'm not saying that he's a good person, but I'm saying like you forget that we got dragged into a forever war. People
Well, also you're not seeing it yet, but he has completely widened the income gap by just slashing all the rich
for
people's
sure.
taxes.
Yeah, and then I mean that's something that happened under Bush as well. But I mean, and it's like a, you know what I mean? Like, when's the last time anybody's brought it up?
People bring up like I miss when George Bush was president, and like I'm guilty of that because like I don't miss it because he was good. I miss it because I miss when things were only that bad.
What do you mean things were
Yeah.
only that bad? We had people throwing shoes at the president.
Dude, did you see they built a statue just
Yes!
memorializing that guy?
Can
And
you
they threw a
imagine?
shoe
Like,
at
that's how
Bush?
shitty of a president George W. Bush was. Is they made,
It's a giant shoe.
and I've been listening to a lot. One of the people who listens to this was like, "Oh, I was listening to the Black album again because you brought it up." Listen to Sum 41, Underclass Hero. That's what I've been listening to for like all day.
Of course.
And it's just like, but it takes you back to that time. I think the real tragedy of like the Trump era now is there's not even good art to go around with it. You know, like,
I feel like movies are getting better.
but not against, like, there was so much good protest music against George W. Bush.
Dude, fuck Donald Trump will slap for a decade.
I've never heard that song.
Yes, you have. I promise you've heard that song.
Who's it by?
Nipsey Hussle and YG.
Haven't heard it. I'll listen to it on my way home today.
Are you being serious or are you joking?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
You really haven't heard
No,
of it?
I've never heard it.
Wow, okay.
But
All right.
like, so you got one song. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we grew up in that time and that was the music that I was listening to. But like, American Idiot came out in that time. You've got Underclass Hero and Chuck from Sum 41. You've got like a bunch of this like good protest music wrapped around it. And then with Trump, you've just got a bunch of us complaining. And I think it's maybe because we have that easier outlet to complain that we don't make the art out of it. But I don't know. He got
everything.
So what's the worst thing he's done? You asked that. Like, I've always kind of thought of the president as like mostly a symbol.
Yeah.
You know, and as a symbol, he's much, much worse than George W. Bush. Because he's like, I always thought Ronald Reagan solidified that like your religion is tied to your politics.
Which was all an act.
Yeah. Well,
It's proven
what
to
do you
be like it was 100%.
Oh, he's not really that religious. You mean?
No,
Oh, okay.
it was his. It was
so all the worse.
It was Nancy. It was Nancy's idea because Ronald Reagan was actually pretty left wing, and then Nancy was like, "No, what we need is like this ultra religious guy. Like that's how we can get you to be president." And he pulled the religious right in.
Yeah, okay.
And that's kind of what got him in.
And then what? So Reagan, you know, with his act, solidified that your religion is, or your political party is tied to your religion. But then Donald Trump solidified that your religion is your political party. Mm-hmm. Like you're either a D or an R, and that's the best way to control the populace is to give people two religions and have them fight it out, so they're not looking.
But
at
is that Donald Trump, or was that happening before him as well? Because I mean, living through
he exploited and exacerbated something that it was time for.
So I mean, he did what it took to win. God damn words. He did what it took to win, and
At the cost of
and whose
civil
fault is
discord.
that? Is that his fault, or is that the people who voted for him's fault?
Little column A, little column B.
I know,
I
and
don't
that's
know.
that's almost like it's the fucking, he's not the hero we deserve, but he's the hero that we deserve right now.
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's he won.
Thank you for responding because I wasn't gonna bother.
No, like, but you just see like a bunch of people are just shitty people, and now like it's put the light on. We had this talk a few weeks ago where it's like, yeah, like racists and Nazis have always been in our country. Now we just know who they are, and
Right.
like we can go after them.
Right.
So like, to me, Donald Trump is like an example of like people don't. It's the
I do appreciate that, but he doesn't deserve credit for that. You know what I mean? That's something that happened as a consequence.
right. That's
of
a,
him.
I'm not giving him credit by any
Yeah,
means.
right.
He's like you're saying, he's the symbol of our country. I think more it's like we're actually seeing what our country is. Like it's just a self-involved win by any means. I'm gonna do what it takes for me to win. And maybe in your life that's not how it is. Maybe in my life that's not how it is.
Right, sure.
But like in a lot, like that's the system of America. Is like
The
by any
political-
means,
the governmental system, yeah.
by any means necessary, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna do what it takes. I don't even care what it looks like at the end of it because I won. And history's told by the winner. And like that's kind of what we're.
I agree with that.
That's
I do
kind of
too.
what we're. It's
There
nice
can be
that we're
good
pushing
fallout
back on
from
it.
this, and I think there is going to be good fallout from this asshole.
I do too.
But-
And I think it's one of those things where it's we want to be stuck in the right now sucks, but like it's been this shitty for a while. We just had like what the problem is we had that bastion of like hope for 8 years, and it's funny because that's like his fucking slogan, but like one of the coolest things that Obama said, and yeah, he had like a bunch of bad shit that he did. That's fine, whatever. But like, again, back to the symbol, he was on a podcast and he's like, to change the direction of a whole country, it might not seem like a lot to change it by by 1 degree. But with like over time, a 1 degree change
It's huge.
is huge over time. And you're just like, all right, we're playing a game
1
forever.
degree in space travel is a big deal.
Nobody knows that. We don't even know about the oceans, man.
What do you mean? That's a
He's
very
saying-
loaded
because it's
state-
really hard to explore the bottom of the ocean
Yeah.
because pressure is
It's a
so
bitch.
high as opposed to outer space where the pressure's 0, so you can navigate it with just like a few thin meters or centimeters of aluminum actually.
Says you.
And Tom Hanks.
And yeah, Tom Hanks. God damn it!
You walk right into that.
We're gonna have to relearn everything that we know. Tom Hanks went to space once and it didn't end well for him.
No, that was his second time in space.
What was the first time?
Well, I mean
Apollo 13.
I was talking about his character Jim Lovell had been to space before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it all.
He referred back to it.
So not only do you only learn history from Tom Hanks movies, but you don't watch the movies all the way through.
Some of them.
They make it back to Earth.
I do like The Martian. So,
That movie's so good.
God, I've seen it 1,000 times.
It is a good movie.
And it shouldn't even work. Matt Damon's so good, though. He's a genius.
He's all right.
Dude, calm down. This is the second time in a row that we brought up Matt Damon. We're almost going to have a Matt Damon and Kanye West section of this whole podcast.
I don't think that either of those are necessary. So
We had Kanye West news last week. I don't know if you listened to it since you weren't on it, but the least you
course I
could do
did.
is actually download it.
of course I did.
I can tell when you don't.
How could you tell?
Fucking technology, bro.
Bro, I downloaded it for sure.
Let me see it.
We're on. I don't have service down here.
Did you bring anything that you wanted to talk about, Joshy? No, you didn't.
I have had a really hectic past few days. I would appreciate you laying the fuck off.
Did you see my little story about the free salad 2020 that I put up
No.
on Facebook? Dude, all right, so back in making change real. So there's a Get Go gas station over by where I go to work that I get my stupid vape pod things at. And I'll get like a sandwich or an energy drink up there every once in a while. But like it's like a shit show of a gas station. It's really nice or whatever, and the people there are cool. But like it's very unorganized, and the lines always get real long. And there was like this bigger black dude buying a salad, and like he had it in his hands, and like he was checking out with something else, and then he goes to leave, and then like this old white lady comes from behind the counter where they like make the salads and like chases him outside and makes him come back in and be like, "You didn't pay for the salad." And he goes, "How else would I have the salad if I didn't pay for it? Because you have to go to the spot, pay for it, and then leave." And she's like, "Well, you didn't pay for that salad. I'm going to need you to pay for that salad." And he's like, "I just threw away my receipt, look at the thing." And so they were just going back and forth. And so like the guy, and I'm just standing there trying to check out, and I'm eavesdropping at this point, and the cashier is also like a younger black dude across from me, and we're just like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he's like, "I have no idea what's going on with this lady." And so the guy with the salad points at the guy behind the cashier. He's like, "I checked out with that guy. Ask him if I paid for the salad." Which I saw the guy check out. It wasn't with the guy I was checking out with, but who am I to step in on this? And the guy I was checking out with goes, "Yeah, man, he paid for the salad."
Hero.
Yeah.
Hero.
And so, like, and then the lady looked at me like I'm supposed to back her. Like, it's like,
Yes, because you're both white.
I know, that's 100% what the look was. Like, she was about to, like, start a race war in the fucking get-go. And I'm like, but I go, because I want to be on the right side of history. I go, "No." I was like, "Yeah, my man paid for the salad." And she's like, "Ugh," and then like marches off. And then the guy just like gave us a look and leaves. And I go to the cashier. I was like, "Did that guy pay for the salad?" He goes, "I have no idea. The guy probably just stole a salad, but like salad should be free anyways." But he was like, "Salad should be free." He could have stolen a candy bar, but he stole salad. Who cares? And I was like, "This is what we need." Like, that's so like I had to, that just like completely ridiculous story. I had to put that online because like that is putting everything into action. Like, we should back everybody up, and salad should be free. Like, that's
2020.
Yeah, that's who I'm voting for.
Okay. I don't think that salad should be free.
Why?
Farmers?
I mean, they
Subsidized.
get enough. Yeah, they get enough government subsidies. They're getting paid regardless. But socialism isn't real. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like,
my god.
Like, let's vote for Republicans as farmers all the time, but like because we don't want socialism. But let's cash that check from the government to make sure that we only make so much. Fucking losers. I don't know.
All right, Ray.
I'm done talking shit to losers online, though. I think that's my, like, I want to lose weight in 2020, and I'm going to stop talking shit to losers online.
That's good. Those are both healthy things.
I've been doing a lot of that, and I should make that same resolution.
It just brings your life down.
I was almost done, and then I got added to this group where it's just all conservative idiots. And
then leave the group. Who added you to it?
Don King. Not the famous Don King, but the local Kent Don King.
Mike Tyson's about to win this next fight. We're going to bring Kobe Grimes into this conservative group. Look at all my rings.
Oh, that's great.
He's a white, local, talented artist.
Yeah. But like,
whose name is Don King, and it's me and Savat and him just wasting our time.
Just a bunch of people with nothing else to do, which is fine. I don't know. Everybody's got to have their hobby. What's life like on Hawaii? Let's delve into that.
Hawaii's fucking dope, man. Like, everyone should live there, but then it would suck.
Yeah. Does it like? And this is not like an ironic trying to be funny question. Like, do you feel weird like being like a white person from the mainland in Hawaii?
I don't feel weird. It's definitely the first place I've been where I'm a minority.
Yeah.
But you know,
and there are like, aren't there?
Everyone there is really, really nice.
Are you on the Big Island?
Yeah.
Okay. Aren't there like laws about like if like you have to be from there to like run certain businesses and shit like that? Isn't that like a real thing?
I haven't heard that.
Oh, I thought that was something. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that to be true either.
I wouldn't think so.
I thought they were trying to at some point or something like that, like just to like keep the heritage up and going.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Which, I mean,
I support it.
Yeah, but then you're at separate but equal again, and then that's like backwards.
I have always been in favor of separate but equal. I just want to put that out there right fucking now. So yes, that is what it is, and I'm fine with it.
This is when we could use the video
Some
aspect
Farrakhan
of
shit.
this. Just like, dude, Josh is. He is obsessed with Louis Farrakhan.
All right, whoa. I don't know that upset. Like, so here's a prime example, right? You
Yeah.
were just talking about how we don't take enough time, or whatever you were saying about, like,
He's openly against the Jews as a race of people. Like, openly.
so remember when you were saying that, like, when is the time going to come that we acknowledge Hitler for his scientific advances? He's a bad guy, right? Did some terrible things, but at the end of the day, he had some ideas. We can all agree on that.
No, we can't.
Okay, fine. Well,
aspirin.
If you inject bleach into people, they're gonna die.
BMW.
That's his scientific advance.
okay.
we quote unquote went to the moon because of Hitler. All right, 100%. Defend yourself.
That's a positive influence.
Yeah,
What are you
NASA,
talking
100%. Nazi scientists wouldn't have Nazi scientists without Hitler.
Exactly. Scientific advances. Now, I am not going to say that.
We could still have German scientists without Hitler, though. I mean,
Right, but they wouldn't have
Yeah.
had the same funding.
I feel like they wouldn't have been under. They wouldn't have come up with these things as quickly as they did if they weren't worried about being shot in the face.
Yeah, and the U.S. economy wouldn't
well,
be as great as
I mean,
it
they
was.
were developing rockets so that we could kill each other better, and so they already had that basic.
But they also
For
had
which
like
we thank them.
Right. No, I
and
get
we
that.
had and they had like a bunch.
No, say
like,
we.
I was gonna say I'm equating it to slavery in the U.S. Like we had a giant free labor force to prop up our economy for years. They had a giant free labor
We had to
force
replace that with the prison system. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't, not to the same degree, but yeah. I mean it's, but that's what that's why
How
science
many
went
people
so
are in
quickly.
prison? 20 million.
It's like 1% of the economy or of the population.
I'm
So
not
2 million?
saying that people in prison should be slaves, but I am going to say that I think that is an area that could very positively affect economy and infrastructure, and we don't tap into it enough.
Yes, we fucking do.
Enough.
We 100% do.
Not enough.
Because the private prisons, they have to work off what they owe the prison to stay
Right.
there.
And I understand
For
that.
the stupid crimes that they're in there.
Right, but
I'd be fine
they
with
do
it if it's like
dumb shit.
murderers.
Those guys I think that they should be like filling potholes, make the roads nicer.
But we
You know
have
what I
people
mean?
to do that.
Okay,
DOT.
so explain Cleveland.
They just don't have the money to do it. because they don't-
Exactly, but they've got lots of people in prison. I'm just saying, it's an untapped market. I realize how it sounds. I'm not apologizing for it.
And I'm the one that people come up to and they're like, Josh seems really offended by the things that you say.
I'm sorry that I'm reasonable.
Do you know
and
what?
the masses know.
At your fucking next
Christ.
golf outing with millionaire state senators.
I don't know who you're talking about.
John
But
Eklund
wow!
and his
Are
his
we name
fucking...
dropping? So
Yeah,
we name dropping.
he's a public
now.
official.
Okay.
Fucking golfing with John Eklund and his fucking Virginia Slims. Like, I can't...
I don't. So I feel like you just have an issue with.
Virginia Slims?
Yeah, that's genuinely what I feel like this is about.
Is he an 85-year-old white woman who's just, like, trying to kill himself before he sees his, like, meth-addled grandchildren run the economy? No, he wants to, like, prop up a bullshit economy just so he can run his stupid businesses and make more money. He should be smoking, like...
What's wrong with that?
He should be smoking Reds, like an American.
I smoke Reds.
I know, you're an
don't-
American.
You don't smoke.
I'm trying
And
not
when
to.
you do, you smoke lights, bitch.
Yeah,
What?
I know, but they're not Virginia Slims. there's levels
Step
to
above.
this.
Step above.
There's levels to this.
Okay, fine.
Virginia Slims they're fine.
No.
Okay, so Virginia Slims, they make like normal size cigarettes. You're talking about the Virginia Super Slims.
Oh, that's what he smokes.
the little thin.
Yes.
Yeah, Virginia Super Slims.
Doral makes those too, don't they? Or is that just Slims?
I think it's just Virginia Slims.
That was so. I used to work in politics, and I've told Josh this 1,000 times, but like John Eklund is a Republican state senator for the longest time in our region, and we'd have to be like, you'd all be at like the same parades and same fucking meetings and all this dumb shit, and like I would get sick of just talking to the same fucking knuckleheads that I had to deal with all the time in all the meetings. So I would hang out with the Republicans just because they're way more interesting. I'd rather 100% more interesting. Do I want to talk to somebody that I agree with 100% of the time, or do I want to learn something new? I'm gonna go talk, and that's
how they get you.
I know.
That is how they get you.
And 2012 was a dangerous time too, because that was like Tea Party time, and you're like,
God,
oh,
yeah.
but like there's so much,
Fucking Tea Party.
but there's so much more fun to talk to, just because they're so crazy, and you're like, do you know
Michelle
what?
Bachmann.
Yeah, dude. Like that's again, I'm
With that
Sure.
1,000-yard stare.
sure I would
noticed
like to
that.
be on the right side of history, but I would also like to have more fun while I'm in this world. Like I can still do the right thing while being crazy as fuck. Like you can have this duality. So I want to talk to the Tea Party people, and Eklund was like super big in the Tea Party at the time because the Tea Party started in Portage County, and that's like where the base. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's horrible.
So
How did I not know that?
it's again, people want to pretend that the world's been shitty since 2016. It's been shitty forever. You just have to pay attention. And like, oh my god. But like, I would just sit and I would talk to John Eklund's people just because I don't know a lot of rich white millionaires. Why wouldn't I want to talk to rich white millionaires? Because I'm trying to be a rich white millionaire. But like, you're talking to these people, and then and he's fine, he's cool, he is whatever. And I'm like, you are the devil, but like, you're fun to talk to. And then he pulls out a pack of Virginia Slims, and I'm like, there it is. You're like waiting for like the sign of why he's a terrible person, and he's like,
Jesus.
but he's like, I'm a big rugged businessman, and I'm all about these like conservative values. Let me go over here and hide that I'm smoking Virginia Slims. Like,
I think that you just demonize millionaires.
no, I want to be a millionaire.
I'm going to stand by what I said.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago or whatever, that everybody wants to demonize billionaires and millionaires until Beyonce comes out with a new song. Like, that's something that I very strongly stand by, is like, you want to say eat the rich, but then you're like, yes, queen, to Lizzo's fat ass dropping through tables.
There.
Have you seen that video? She needs to be stopped.
What did you call her?
A big black bitch.
Big black bitch.
She's a queen of the lizard people. Like,
Lizzo is complete garbage.
She needs
I
to
think
be
that
stopped.
We can all agree on that. It's fine.
the white woman demographic of this podcast did not agree. They strongly disagree.
That Lizzo is garbage?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they love her.
Lizzo doesn't like white people.
She doesn't like white people. She's a ginormous person. And like, everybody's like, don't body shame. It's like, you don't look that bad. You're not in that group.
If you want the heat, you got to have the meat. So
There's a difference between somebody who's like,
thank you, Colby.
Yes, it was funny.
Somebody appreciates it.
Fucking idiots. This is the dumbest thing. But like, there's a difference between, I'll even give you 50 pounds overweight and Lizzo. like most people aren't. It's just a weird backswing. Like, they want to
She's
get
not even ginormous. I feel like she's about 50 or 60 pounds overweight.
Colby, have you seen the
No.
Yeah, Colby, I'm gonna need you to shut the
pull
fuck
up the
up.
picture from the
I'm
from the
about
Lakers
50 pounds
game.
Overweight too. So.
No. Then Liz, if you are 50 pounds overweight, then Lizzo is 100 pounds overweight.
Dude, she's just, it's not here. I'm gonna bring up the video of her going through the table. Oh, fucking.
That'll go well for the radio.
It's hilarious, dude.
She is a
She's
big girl.
Get the sound out of here. Come on, ads.
Like and subscribe to Viva Video.
Should I cut this?
No,
Yeah. No, okay, so she's like, okay, that's pretty funny. Yeah,
Like she just falls through a table. She
but
needs.
she's like 60 pounds.
No!
'Cause she's also shorter than me.
Colby, a woman
She is
that
a grape.
But she's
A
very
grape of a
delicate.
human being.
That was very funny face plant there.
Dude.
But it's fine. Whatever. If you want to identify with Lizzo, you're perfectly fine doing that. She doesn't like white people. She doesn't like people who are healthy. She doesn't like anything that America stands for. But let's prop
I think
her up.
America stands for being healthy, or like
Yes. In my America, it does.
Do you guys think, and this is something that I feel like most women feel very strongly about, so this is probably not the best group of people
Yeah.
to discuss this with, but I'm going to do it mostly because I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Um,
We can pretty much wrap on this, too. We've got like
Perfect.
10 minutes, so.
So, do you think that the movement of, like, no body shaming, blah, 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 big people are beautiful, is just an excuse?
To not get your shit together?
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like, I saw it, like, I was going off about this the other day.
Okay.
I saw a post, this person was like, my doctor asked me, like, when they were at the doctor, and they, like, take your weight and your height, the nurse or the doctor was like, are you comfortable hearing what your weight is? And they're like, every doctor should work like this. It's like, no, bitch. Every doctor should tell you that you're a fat piece of shit. If you're a fat piece of shit, it's their job to keep you alive.
Okay.
Like, that's what you're getting paid to do.
Got it.
And I mean, obviously, I need to lose a lot of weight. And every time I go into the doctor, my doctor's like, everything's fine, but you need to lose a lot of weight. And it's like, it's unhealthy to be like, being that fat doesn't have any problems with your lifespan. It's like,
you should get regular blood work done. But like, I don't think it's an excuse to not get your shit together. I think it's like fat teenagers were getting bullied and killing themselves, and so it's like, let's find a way to stop this from happening.
but then you have like My Chemical Romance when we were growing up, like, like they were all skinny white dudes talking about how hard it was. But like, you're like, all right, there's other people in this battle. Let's get our shit together. You can still be a good person and look however you look. This isn't like fat people are terrible because I'm a fat person. Am I probably terrible? Yes. But like, not because I'm fat.
And also, a lot of people's idea of getting their shit together would be like anorexia and bulimia. And
Correct.
That's very
So,
bad.
yeah, and I mean,
So we're
it's...
trying to make girls that are 10 pounds overweight not starve themselves.
And there's a difference between... And like I said, there's a difference between... Like, let's give it 50 pounds. There's a difference between 50 pounds overweight and then just, like, being grossly overweight. That's unhealthy, and that should not be what a hero is to
Normalized.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sure, not everybody's a Victoria's Secret model, but also, like, not everybody's Lizzo's size. So we shouldn't be like, just because she's the other extreme, let's cheer her on. How about we put some, like... Fucking Adele. Was she a little bit thicker? Yes. But was she unhealthy fat? No. Like, let's bring back people the size of Adele. Same thing with fat white dudes. Like, Ruben Studdard was like a perfect example of like an overweight male who could still do it.
He's not white.
It doesn't matter if he's white.
You just said, speaking of fat white dudes, Ruben Studdard.
Oh, did I say fat white
Did
dudes?
no one else hear that
He didn't
except
say
for me?
speaking of fat white dudes.
I-
But like, yeah, you pirouetted over to Ruben Studdard instead
whatever.
of saying a fat white guy.
Fine. Pick some fat white guy. The guy from Smash Mouth.
Okay.
Like, you get just, he's bigger, but he's not like unhealthy, and people don't like, they don't worship him. Like, you're worshiping somebody who shouldn't be worshipped. Until, I mean, the tide's gonna turn anyways, because everybody cared about Lil Nas X for 6 months, and then you're just like, all right, cool, we're past him. So Lizzo will be gone soon anyways, but then they'll just have, like, Tim Dillon, who's a comedian, he'll talk about how, like, you'll just have an ass. Like, they'll find a way just to make an ass sing, and then we'll all be, like, excited that, like, there's just an ass. Like, we don't even need the person. So, I don't know. Just like that Futurama. Like, you'll just have a jar with a head in it. Like, you won't even need the rest of them.
Having an ass be your entertainment, that's from Idiocracy.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It was a 90-minute movie just called Ass, and it was just an ass.
Mike Judge is
Just
ahead
on
of
the
his time.
screen, and every now and then it would fart, and everyone would laugh. It won 8 Oscars, including Best Screenplay. That's a good movie.
Are we in a Mike Judge movie?
Yeah, right. It's a good question.
You never know.
We won't know until it's done. I'm just saying that 1984, the book, was nothing like the year, so fuck it all, you know?
I hear you.
I don't know, man. I think we should be done with this. Colby, is there anything else you want to say on your platform on Being the World?
The moon is real, and we've been there. Nice bookend.
How many times?
Oh, I think like 10 or something.
10 or something times.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Been there 10 or something times, and we wouldn't have been out there
We
without
bring back
industry.
rocks every
So
time.
let's,
There's not a whole lot to see.
dude, it's putrefied wood. It's already been proven. We're not gonna. That's
Petrified
a whole.
wood?
Yeah, that was one of the big. Like they gave a moon rock to like Sweden or something, and they did tests on it, and it was just petrified wood.
That's not real.
100%.
That's
Google
absolutely
it.
not real.
100% real. I'm telling you.
Maybe it was a fake moon rock or something.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. It was a fake moon rock
right,
that was actually petrified wood. They're out here spreading disinterest. We wouldn't be able to do it without industry, so let's cheers it up to industry.
Wow.
Told you, a fucking barn burner.
That was a fucking shit show. Oh my god.